former chief of the San Bernardino, California Police Department, Jarrod Burguan, who guided his department through one of America's worst mass shootings, a terrorist attack in 2015 perpetrated by a husband and wife who killed 14 innocent people and injured more than 20. Chief Burguan, we thank you so much for taking the time to join us. The FBI is not yet calling the man who shot former President Trump a lone wolf. They say they want to learn more about him first, but there are some similarities between him and the male shooter your team eventually killed in 2015. Both held down jobs and moved through society without attracting too much attention. How difficult is it to stop potential lone wolves in the first place?
Well, we know that lone wolves are among the most difficult and challenging aspect of stopping or preventing an attack. Intelligence is pretty well developed, and quite often we can pick up on intelligence on large groups because it's difficult for them to keep secrets or to keep quiet. But lone wolves are acting by themselves, and if they don't leave signals on social media, if they don't tell people what they're thinking about doing, it becomes extraordinarily difficult to know anything about them or to have any idea that they might be planning something.
Investigators always want to discover the motive behind such violent acts. Why is that important from a policing standpoint?
Well, the motive helps tell the story, and it helps potentially prevent future occurrences from happening. So, for instance, in the case that we dealt with in San Marino several years ago, obviously the motive led to it being a terrorist investigation and a federal investigation. Motive can be everything.
The FBI is casting a very wide net to learn more about that shooter in Pennsylvania. In these kinds of instances, these investigations, who are you talking to, and what physical evidence are you gathering?
Yeah, so keep in mind, there will be no stone left unturned in this investigation. Everybody that knew him, from his family to his friends to his co-workers to former classmates, many of whom will be interviewed to get the clearest picture as to who he was connected to, what network was potentially in place, and what potentially motivated him. They'll also bring every available resource to bear in terms of uncovering this from a forensic standpoint. We've already heard about the phone. There's some similarities there in how long it takes to get into a phone. But phones can give you a tremendous amount of intelligence to know what were his Google searches, what was his social media activity, what was he really interested in, and what was on that device.
And your department did a comprehensive review of its response that tragic day in 2015. How important is it for the Secret Service and local law enforcement to do the same?
Yeah, so every critical incident really deserves a fresh set of eyes to kind of do that lessons learned piece. What did we learn in an incident? How can we get better? How can we improve a response in the future? When I first saw that incident and they talked about the chaos that was going on, I kind of understood it. I've worked in a number of incidents with the Secret Service where you've got this campaign stop, it comes into your city. There's this very quick plan that is put together to secure a facility as well as possible. The Secret Service can't do it without the help of locals, but it's also not the specialty of local law enforcement. So local law enforcement is trying to figure out as it goes. Clearly, there was a breakdown in communication. Clearly, there's lessons to be learned on how the Secret Service and local law enforcement can work better to ensure that those events are safe and that the person being protected is safe.
Former Police Chief Burguan, we thank you so much for your insights tonight.